My dear learners, for this course on heat transfer. In this module 1, we were discussing on introductory concepts to heat transfer and one-dimensional steady state heat conduction. So far, we have derived general expression for heat conduction in Cartesian coordinate, cylindrical coordinate and spherical coordinate, and also we have analyzed heat transfer through plane wall, cylinder and sphere, and also heat transfer through composite wall, composite cylinder and composite sphere. From today's lecture, we are ready to solve numerical problems on 1D steady state heat conduction. Before heading to start solving problems on 1D steady state heat conduction problems, I want to address very two important concepts. That is, first one is contact resistance. Coming for contact resistance, if I consider heat transfer through composite walls, that is for multi-layered walls, it is based on the assumption that the interface between the walls are perfectly connected and the temperature is constant at the interface throughout the surface area, and there is a continuity in heat flow. But in actual conditions, this is not true. In actual multi-layered walls or in composite walls, there will be a presence of voids in between the surfaces of the walls or in between at the interface between the two walls. So this presence of voids, that are air gaps, causes resistance for the heat flow. Or if glues are present between the two metal pieces which are attached, this glue will cause resistance for heat flow. So due to this, there is a temperature drop observed at the interface between the two walls. That is, if I consider a multi-layered wall like this, let us consider a multi-layered wall. A three-layered wall like this, the temperature distribution, if I plot, it will be like this. So this is what actual in practice happens. So heat flows like this, there is a temperature drop at the interface is observed, and then heat flows like this, and there is a temperature drop observed, and finally heat flows like this. Now this is because of contact resistance. Temperature drop because of contact resistance. So these are nothing but temperature drop because of contact resistance. It is T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, and if I take this as T6, these two are termed as temperature drop because of contact resistance. Now, from the analysis, we know that rate of heat transfer Q is equal to delta T by resistance between the 2 points. This resistance might be because of thermal resistance due to conduction, or this is because of convection resistance. The formulas are already learned. Now, if we plot between the points 2 and 3, then Q is equal to T2 minus T3 by R, thermal resistance due to contact. So therefore, R thermal resistance due to contact is given by T2 minus T3 by Q. So these values are experimentally determined and will be given for you people by solving problems, or by solving problems if I know the temperature drop at these 2 points. That is, if I know T2 and T3, by knowing the temperature drop, I can find what is the contact resistance between the walls. So this is a very important concept in engineering, where you solve problems on multi-layered walls or composite walls. In practice, the temperature distribution is not uniform at the interface. There is a drop in temperature observed because of presence of voids. Only at discrete points the areas will be in contact, and in many discrete points there will be a presence of air gap, due to which there is a resistance for heat flow, which causes the temperature drop at the interface. This is known as contact resistance. Next, another very important thing is that overall heat transfer coefficient. That is, overall heat transfer coefficient. Coming for the concept of overall heat transfer coefficient, which is denoted by U, whenever there is a heat transfer between the fluids, when there is a heat transfer from fluid to fluid with metal boundaries, then usually expressing the heat transfer in terms of overall heat transfer coefficient is beneficial. This is because of the reason the overall heat transfer coefficient will gives us the rate of heat transfer per unit time, per unit area, per unit temperature difference between the bulk of the fluid on either side of the wall of the metals. What I mean to say is that if I take a metal fluid to fluid heat transfer through the metal boundary, consider a metal boundary like this, consider a plane wall, on either side let us have the fluids. Let the heat transfer coefficient of hot fluid be Hi and temperature be Ti, and the heat transfer of cold fluid be H0 and temperature be T0. The heat transfer will take place from hot fluid to cold fluid through the metal boundary. Now, if you observe, we have totally three resistances: resistance due to convection, resistance due to conduction, resistance due to convection again. So now, this usually we write it as Q is equal to Ti minus To divided by sum of resistances. That is, we already know that Ti minus To divided by 1 by Hi Ai plus L by Ka plus 1 by H0 A0. For plane wall, the area remains same. So therefore, I can write this as Ti minus T0, the surface area for the contact of the fluid and area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow are same. So this can be written as 1 by Hia plus L by Ka plus 1 by H0A. Now, if U is the overall heat transfer coefficient, then the rate of heat transfer Q can be written as UA Ti minus Tu. That is, the overall heat transfer coefficient will gives us the rate of heat transfer per unit area, per unit time, per unit temperature difference between the bulk of the fluid on either side of the metal surfaces. Now, if I equate these two equations, then we can write it as Ti minus T0 divided by 1 by Hia plus L by Ka plus 1 by H0A. This is equal to UA Ti minus T0. So therefore, the overall heat transfer coefficient U times A is equal to 1 divided by sum of resistances. So this is a very popular expression which is used dominantly in the field of heat transfer. Now I can cancel off area and area here, and I can write the equation in the reduced form. But to remember the equation for overall heat transfer coefficient, this is the best way to remember, because you know the formulas for resistances due to convection and also resistance due to conduction, using which you can determine the resistances. Now use the formula U times area is equal to 1 by sum of resistances. Now send area here, that will become 1 by area times sum of resistances, that will give you the overall heat transfer coefficient. The advantage of remembering the equation in this form is that it can be extended easily for cylinders and spheres. When it comes for cylinders and spheres, the area differs, because we have inside surface area based on inner radius, outside surface area based on outer radius. So during those difficulties, if you use this equation, now if I want overall heat transfer coefficient based on inside surface area, divide RHS by inside surface area, you will get UI. If I want overall heat transfer coefficient based on outside surface area, then divide RHS by area outside, we will get overall heat transfer coefficient based on outside surface area. So therefore, it is recommended to remember the expression for overall heat transfer coefficient as overall heat transfer coefficient into area is equal to 1 by sum of resistances. So these two are very important concepts one should know to conduct analysis of heat transfer for various problems of composite wall, composite spheres and composite cylinders. Let me pause this video for a while so that people can copy down the concept of contact resistance and overall heat transfer coefficient, and later we will address our problem number 1 on composite wall. Now moving ahead, the problem number 1 states that a wall of the furnace is made up of inside layer of silica brick 120 mm thick covered with a layer of magnesite brick 240 mm thick. The temperatures at the inside surface of silica brick wall and outside surface of magnesite brick wall are 725 degrees Celsius and 110 degrees Celsius respectively. The contact thermal resistance between the two walls at the interface is 0.0035 degrees Celsius per watt per unit wall area. If the thermal conductivities of silica and magnesite bricks are 1.7 watt per meter degree Celsius and 5.8 watt per meter degree Celsius, calculate the rate of heat loss per unit area of walls, the temperature drop at the interface due to contact resistances and interface temperatures. Now, if I list out the data given for problem number 1, a wall of a furnace is made up of inside layer of silica brick. So we have a silica brick like this. It is covered with a layer of magnesite brick. It is covered with a layer of magnesite brick. So we have silica brick and magnesite brick. Their thickness are given to us. So therefore, if I plot the thickness are, the silica brick is 120 mm thick, whereas the magnesite is 240 mm thick. The temperatures at the inside surface of silica brick wall. So here I know the temperature, which is 725 degrees Celsius, and outside surface of magnesite brick, here he has given the temperature as 110 degrees Celsius, and he is specifying the contact thermal resistance between the two walls. So there is a contact thermal resistance, so therefore we can observe the drop in temperature at the contact surface because of contact resistance specified. Else we assume that there is no contact resistance, the metals are perfectly contacting each other and the temperature is uniform at the interface and will take only one temperature at that point. So this is what he has specified for us, and he has given the thermal conductivities also. So always for solving problems on composite walls, composite cylinders or on composite spheres, always without fail you write the electrical or thermal circuit, which gives a clear-cut indication or idea for you people regarding the resistance, whether it is convective resistance or it is conduction resistance, and what is its formula. So to analyze it easily, if I draw the electrical circuit, we have T1, the first resistance is because of conduction, and we have T2, there is a contact resistance specified for us. So therefore here we have thermal resistance due to contact. there is a temperature drop to T3, and then again we have conduction through a magnesite brick wall to temperature T4. This can be taken as a resistance R2. Now, if I specify the data what he given, he has also given the values of temperatures T1 as 725 degrees Celsius and T4 is specified as 110 degrees Celsius. He has given the contact resistance. Thermal resistance due to contact is specified as 0.0035 degrees Celsius per watt per unit area. So, he has specified for area is equal to 1 meter square. If the thermal conductivities of silica and magnesite bricks, I am using suffix 1 for silica brick and suffix 2 for magnesite brick for noting down the values of thermal conductivities. We have 1.7 watt per meter degree Celsius and 5.8 watt per meter degree Celsius respectively. Find the rate of heat transfer Q, temperature drop at the interface, that is T2 minus T3, and the interface temperatures. What is the value of T2 and what is the value of T3 he is asking. Now, we know that the rate of heat transfer is given by, for composite walls, Q is equal to delta T by sum of resistance. Now, first, if I note down the value of R1, R1 is equal to L1 by K1. Area remains same for composite wall. Let us take it as A1. Length is 120 mm, that is 0.12 meters. Thermal conductivity is 1.7 and area is 1 meter square. Always, if area is not specified for walls, you assume the area is 1 meter square and solve. Here he has mentioned the area as 1 meter square. Now, the answer is turning out to be 0.12 divided by 1.7, which is 0.0706 degrees Celsius per watt. R due to thermal contact resistance is given for us, which is 0.0035 degrees Celsius per watt, and coming for the value of R2, it is L2 by K2A2. So area is 1, length is 240 mm, that is 0.24 meters. Thermal conductivity is 5.8 into area is 1 meter square. Hence, the answer is turning out to be 0.24 by 5.8, which is 0.04138 degrees Celsius per watt. Hence, the value of rate of heat transfer Q will be T1 minus T4 divided by sum of resistance. So therefore, I will get the answer as T1 is 725 minus T4 is 110 divided by sum of resistance, that is 0.0706 plus 0.0035 plus 0.04138, which is nothing but 5325.6 watts. So we have calculated the rate of heat transfer. Now he is asking the temperature drop due to thermal contact resistance. This you people already know. The rate of heat transfer Q can also be written as delta T by resistance between the sections, or between any two sections, or between the point of interest. So I take between 2 and 3. If I write it between 2 and 3, then Q2 to 3 is equal to T2 minus T3 by R thermal contact resistance. So therefore temperature drop due to thermal contact resistance T2 minus T3 will be equal to Q times R thermal contact resistance. You know the value of Q, which is 5325.6 into R thermal contact resistance is given for us, which is 0.0035. So therefore the temperature drop due to contact resistance is 18.64 degrees Celsius. Now in order to find the value of T2 and T3 individually, since I know T1, I can solve for this separately. Since I know T4, I can solve for this separately. So solve for Q1 to 2 separately, Q3 to 4 separately, we will get the answer. That is, we know that Q1 to 2 is equal to T1 minus T2 divided by resistance R1. T1 minus T2 by R1. So therefore, we know all the values. If I substitute and solve, I will get the value of T2. So Q1 to 2 is nothing but Q. For steady state, Q is constant. Hence 5325.6 is equal to T1 is given for us, which is 725, minus T2 is unknown, alpha x divided by resistance R1 is 0.0706. So shift solve is equal to, so T2 is turning out to be 349 degrees Celsius. Now if I use between Q3 to 4, that is T3 minus T4 by resistance R3, that is what we have, T3 minus T4 by resistance R3. So I will get the unknown value, that is T3. So T3 for this problem will be, Q is constant, which is 5325.6 is equal to, T3 is unknown, alpha x minus T4 is 110 divided by resistance R3. It is R2, sorry, we have noted down it as R2, resistance R2. R2 is turning out to be 0.04138. Shift solve is equal to, so T3 is 330.37 degrees Celsius. So it is clear that there is a temperature difference of 18.6 degrees Celsius, which is already determined, which is correct. Let me pause this video for a while so that people can copy it down. Later we will solve problem number 2. Now moving ahead to solve problem number 2, which states that a square plate heater 15 cm cross 15 cm is inserted between two slabs. Slab A is 2 cm thick, thermal conductivity is 50 watt per meter degree Celsius, and slab B is 1 cm thick, K is 0.2 watt per meter degree Celsius. The outside heat transfer coefficient on side A and side B are 200 watt per meter square degree Celsius and 50 watt per meter square degree Celsius respectively. The temperature of surrounding air is 25 degrees Celsius. If rating of heater is 1 kilowatts, find maximum temperature in the system. Outer surface temperature of two slabs. Now, if I list out the data given and draw an outline sketch to understand the problem, we have a square plate heater. So we have a heater which is inserted between two slabs. So we have two slabs. Let us take the slabs as slab A and slab B. Let us take it as slab A, this as slab B. He has given the thickness of slab A as 2 centimeters, which is 0.02 meters, and thickness of slab B is specified. The slab B thickness is 1 centimeter, that is 0.01 meters. Yes, specified the convective heat transfer coefficient. So there is a convection happening on either side, and he has given the values of HA and HB and states that there is an ambient air which is at a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, and rating of heat is also specified. So this is what he has given for us. So since he has given the cross section area of this plate heater, so if I draw the side view of this, we have a plate heater of area 15 centimeter cross 15 centimeter, that is 0.15 meter cross 0.15 meter. So this is the square plate heater. So therefore, if I view from this side, I can see the area of the slab and the square plates, which are 15 cross 15 centimeters square. So therefore, if I write the equivalent electrical circuit for this, there is a heat coming from the heater which is 1000 watts, and it is moving to two sides, that is, it is traveling to QA, it is traveling to QB. So now we have resistance due to conduction of slab A, that is RA, and we have resistance due to convection at outer surface to ambient. Let us take it as RHA. So this side also we have the resistance due to conduction of the slab, that is RB, and also we have convection resistance to the atmosphere. Let us take it as RHB. Whereas the ambient temperature remains same, that is T infinity and T infinity, whereas here the temperature is same. Let us take this as T max, maximum temperature, and here we have the temperature of surface B, and here we have the temperature at surface A. So now I want to find what is the value of TA and TB, and also I want to find what is this maximum temperature. Now if you observe, if you conduct the heat balance, the 1000 watts what is coming is moving on either side. So therefore Q what is supplied is moving on either side. Apart from this, the known data are the thermal conductivity K for slab A is 50 watt per meter degree Celsius, and for slab B KB is 0.2 watt per meter degree Celsius, and we have convective resistances. HA is 200 watt per meter square degree Celsius, and on side B it is 50 watt per meter square degree Celsius. So this is what he has given. He has given the ambient temperature also, which is 25 degrees Celsius. Now from the heat balance, it is clear that Q is equal to QA plus QB. And also if I calculate the area is turning out to be 15 square centimeter square, that is 0.15 into 0.15, which is nothing but 0.15 into 0.15, which is 0.0225 meters square. So for clear understanding, if you want to write, you can write the 3D sketch. So 3D sketch will be like this. So like this it will look. Somewhat like this we have, and this area is what I have plotted here, this area. So heat is coming like this. It is also going like this. Q. Now I don't know the temperature TA. I know the temperature T infinity. I don't know the temperature TB, but I know temperature T infinity. So since on either side I know the temperature T infinity, if I take the heat transfer throughout from T max to T infinity, I can solve this problem because T max is the only unknown that is left out for us. If I do between, then there are two unknowns, T max and TB, so hence I cannot solve. So therefore I do for from point T max to infinity on either side, I will do in one stretch, thereby T max is the only unknown I have in this equation. That is Q is 1000, which is equal to TA. On A side I will take it from T max to T infinity, that is minus T infinity whole divided by resistance RA and RHA. Resistance RA is known for us, it is L by Ka. L is 0.02 divided by Ka. Thermal conductivity of A is 50 into area is 0.0225 plus we have RHA. RHA is because of convection, it is 1 by HA into area. HA is 200. So if you observe here, the cross sectional area and the surface area in contact with the atmosphere are same. So therefore into I have area as 0.0225 plus QB. If I write, it is T max minus T infinity, T max minus T infinity whole divided by RB. RB is because of conduction, that is L by Ka. 0.01 divided by K is 0.2 into area is 0.0225 plus RHB is because of convection, which is 1 by HB area. HB is given as 50 times area is 0.0225. So in this equation we know the value of T infinity, which is 25. The only unknown is T max. If I solve, I will get the maximum temperature as, that is 1000. Area throughout I can take common, so area will become, goes to denominator here, that is 1000 by 0.0225, which is equal to T max is unknown, alpha x minus T infinity is known to us, which is 25 into one by 0.02 by 50 plus 1 by 200 into 0. Area is already taken common, plus 1 by 0.01 divided by 0.2 plus 1 by 50. So if I solve, I will get the answer for T max as 247.81 degrees Celsius. 247.81 degrees Celsius. So this is the maximum temperature at heater. Now to find TA and TB, we can equate the rate of heat transfer, or I can find what is the heat transfer QB and QA separately and solve. Now to eliminate that difficulty, what I will do is that I will equate what is the rate of heat transfer happening from Tmax to Tb should be equal to Tb to T infinity. Correct? So therefore, I will do from Tmax to Tb and equate it to Tb to T infinity. For steady state, QB is constant. Similarly for QA, I will do from Tmax to TA must be equal to TA to T infinity. What I mean to say is that to find A, that is to find TA, Tmax minus TA divided by the resistance Ra is L by Ka into area must be equal to TA minus T infinity divided by 1 by HA A. This is nothing but QA. So therefore, from this I can find the value of TA, which will be turning out to be Tmax is calculated 247.81 minus TA is unknown divided by length is 0.02 divided by thermal conductivity is 50. So we'll cancel off area on either side. TA is unknown. T infinity is 25 divided by 1 by HA is 200. Hence, we get the value of surface temperature on side A as 247.181 minus alpha x divided by 0.02 by 50. This must be equal to alpha x minus 25 divided by 1 by 200. Shift solve. I get the value of surface temperature TA as 231.3 degrees Celsius. 231.3 degrees Celsius. So similarly, to find TB, I will write Tmax minus TB divided by Ly KBA should be equal to TB minus T infinity by 1 by HBA. This is nothing but QB. Cancel off area on either side. We will get the value of TB if I solve. So TB or surface temperature of slab B is turning out to be Tmax is 247.81 minus alpha x divided by length is 0.01 divided by KB is 0.2. This must be equal to alpha x minus 25 divided by 1 by HB. HB is 50. Shift solve. I will get the answer of surface temperature of B as 88.66 degrees Celsius. So this is the solution for problem number 2, wherein which we have calculated the maximum temperature and the surface temperature of slab A and slab B, that is the outer surface temperatures. Let me pause this video for a while so that people can copy it down. Later we will solve problem number 3. Next, moving ahead, the problem number 3 states that a composite wall is as shown in the figure. Find rate of heat loss, overall heat transfer coefficient, and draw the equivalent electrical thermal circuit. Now, he has given the sketch for us in a 3-dimensional view, from which I can extract the area of this wall perpendicular to the direction of heat flow for conduction, and the surface area will remain same at the end surfaces because the area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow and surface area in contact with the fluids are same for us here. So first let us draw the electrical or thermal circuit which gives us clear indication of this problem. Later we can solve the problem. So first, moving ahead for the solution, let me take point 3 first because it is very important for us. So we have gas, let us take it as temperature of gas, and we have resistance due to convection from gas. So that is R due to gases, and we have the temperature T1 at this point. We have conduction resistance, that is RA, and we have these slabs BCD which are in series. So therefore here we have series arrangement. So the circuit will be like this. So we have resistance of B, resistance of C, and resistance of D. And then we have again the series arrangement between E and F. We have resistance due to E and resistance due to F. That is RF and RE. And again we have convective resistance to atmosphere, that is air, which is a temperature T infinity. So this is what we have here. We can take the temperature as T2, here we can take the temperature as T3, and here we can take the temperature as T4. Now I want to get the equivalent circuits first. So therefore if I reduce this for with equivalent resistance, we have temperature of gas, R of gas, T1, we have T2, R at A. This can be written as R equivalent resistance 1, T3, and this can be written as R equivalent circuit 2, T4, and finally we have T infinity. This is R convection due to air. Now we know whenever the resistances are connected in series, sorry, these are in parallel case. I am extremely sorry, I am addressing the parallel as series, series as parallel. Here the resistances are connected in parallel arrangement. Whenever we have the resistance are in parallel arrangement, the equivalent resistance for parallel circuits we have 1 by R equivalent is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. This is for parallel connection. Whereas for series like this, it is just the summation. That is what we are doing. Since the resistances are in series, we are taking the summation as the equivalent resistance. That is R is equal to delta T by equivalent resistance of summation of resistance. So this is in series, whereas these are in parallel. Whenever it is in parallel, the equivalent resistance is 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Now let us find the resistance one by one. Before that, I want to find the area. So area of A. So area of A will be perpendicular direction of heat flow is this length into this height. This length is given as 2500 mm. This height is given as 2000. So therefore it is 2 meter cross 2.5 meter. So 2 cross 2.5, which is 5 meter square. Next, coming for area of element B. So area of element B is this distance into this height. So this length is known to us 2500 and this height is 1000. So this 1 meter cross 2.5 meter. 1 meter cross 2.5 meter. It is 2.5 meter square. Area perpendicular direction of heat flow. For C it is 0.5 cross 2.5. So area of C is 0.5 meters cross 2.5 meters, that is 1.25 meters square. Similarly, I can find area of D. Area of D is this height into this length. So this height is missing. The overall height is 2000. 2000 minus 1500 is 500. So this height is 500. 500 plus 2.5. So that is 0.5 cross 2.5, which is same 1.25. Next we have area of E. Area of E is 1.25 cross 2.5, that is 1.25 cross 2.5, which is 3.125 meter square. Next, area of F is 0.75, because overall height is 2000. 2000 minus 1250 is 750. 750 mm is nothing but 0.75 meters into 2.5, which is turning out to be 0.75 into 2.5, that is 1.875 meters square. So we have calculated all the areas. Now I can find the resistances. Let us find resistance R gas first. R gas is because of convection. It is Hg times the total area. So 1 divided by Hg is known to us, which is 8500, into area is 2 meter cross 2.5 meters, which is nothing but 1 by 8500 into 2 into 2.5, which is 2.3529 into 10 to the power of minus 5 degrees Celsius per watt. Next, coming for resistance due to A is conduction, L by Ka. L is 0.75 by K is 18.88 into area of A is 5, which is equal to 0.75 divided by 18.88 into 5, that is 7.945 into 10 to the power of minus 3 degrees Celsius per watt. Next, if I go for RB, length is 0.5, KB is 2.77 into area of B is 2.5, which is equal to 0.5 by 2.77 into 2.5, which is 0.0722 degrees Celsius per watt. Next, if I calculate RC due to conduction, length remains same, 0.5 divided by thermal conductivity of C is 2.32 into its area. Area is 1.25, which is 0.5 by 2.32 into 1.25, that is 0.1724 degree Celsius per watt. Coming for RD, it is also 0.5 by thermal conductivity is 1.9 into its area is 1.25. That is 0.5 by 1.9 into 1.25, which is 0.2105 degree Celsius per watt. Next, if I move ahead to solve for RE, so RE will be length is 500, 0.5, thermal conductivity is 1.16 into area is 3.125. That is 0.5 by 1.16 into 3.125, which is equal to 0.1379 degree Celsius per watt. Finally, RF is 0.5 divided by K is 1.37 into area of F is 1.875, which is equal to 0.5 divided by 1.37 into 1.875, that is 0.1946 degree Celsius per watt. So now I can find the equivalent 1 and equivalent 2. So 1 by R equivalent 1 is equal to 1 by RB plus 1 by RC plus 1 by RD. So therefore you will get the value of R equivalent 1. So similarly 1 by R equivalent 2 as 1 by RE plus 1 by RF, you will get the value of R equivalent 2. So therefore total R is RA plus R equivalent 1 plus R equivalent 2 plus R of air. So here itself we can write R of air is inverse of HA. H of air is known to us. H of air is 2000 into area is 2 into 2.5 inverse. So if you solve, we will get resistance due to convection at air side is 1 divided by 2000 into area is 2 into 2.5, that is 10 to the power of minus 4. Resistance on air side is 10 to the power of minus 4. Degree Celsius per watt. So now let us find the equivalent resistance. 1 by alpha x is equal to 1 by RB. RB is 0.0722 plus 1 by RC. RC is 0.1724 plus 1 by RD. RD is 0.2105. If I solve, I will get R equivalent 1 as 0.041 degree Celsius per watt. So similarly, if I solve for R equivalent to 1 by alpha x is equal to 1 by RE. RE is 0.1379 plus 1 by RF. RF is 0.1946. Shift solve is equal to. So I get R equivalent to as 0.081 degree Celsius per watt. So therefore, summation of resistance will be R gas plus RA. That is R is equal to R gas plus RA plus R equivalent 1 plus R equivalent 2 plus RA. So R gas is 2.3529 exponential minus 5 plus RA is 7.945 into 10 to the power of minus 3 plus R equivalent 1 is 0.041 plus R equivalent 2 is 0.081 plus 10 to the power of minus 4 is RA, resistance due to air. So if I solve, I get resistance as 0.13 degrees Celsius per watt. So therefore Q is equal to T of gas minus T infinity by R. So which is turning out to be T of gas is 900 degrees Celsius minus T of air is 40 degrees Celsius divided by R is 0.13, which is 6,615.4 watts. Now coming for overall heat transfer coefficient, it is UA is equal to 1 by summation of resistance. So U is equal to 1 by area is 2 into 2.5 into resistance is 0.13. So therefore overall heat transfer coefficient is turning out to be 1 by 2 into 2.5 into 0.13, which is 1.538, or it can take it as 1.54 watt per meter square degree Celsius. So this is the complete solution for this problem. So this completes our discussion on numerical problems on 1D steady state heat conduction in composite wall. From next lecture, I will take up problems on 1D steady state heat conduction in composite cylinders. That's all from this lecture. Thank you all.